You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken Tech for your ears.
Welcome. I'm really excited about what we're exploring today. We've got insights covering everything from AI getting deep into our code all the way to how the software we use is, well, kind of shaping who we are. Our goal here is to unpack these shifts, make them clear, and maybe show how tech is becoming so much more about, us and how we express ourselves.
Exactly. We've looked through a bunch of recent stuff, articles, opinions, announcements, trying to connect the dots on what's really shifting in tech. Help you see the bigger picture.
Okay, so let's kick things off right there with AI and software development. How's it really changing things? What's standing out?
Well, what's really fascinating, I think, is this idea of putting AI agent instructions right inside the engineering documentation.
Inside the docs, how does that work?
Think about it. No more copying the same info into different places. They actually tested this with the Gemini CLI agent, and it worked. It followed the instructions in the docs to turn some sample code into a component you could actually build.
Wow. So it's not just about efficiency, it sounds like AI is becoming more integrated.
Precisely. It's moving towards this symbiotic human AI thing where AI is just a natural part of the workflow.
That efficiency sounds great, but it makes me wonder, we hear so much about AI writing code.
Yeah.
Is that really the main bottleneck we should be focused on?
Yeah, that's a really important question. Is writing the code the actual holdup? What the sources suggest is that right now, LLMs are maybe better at generating code that just calls other tools, using APIs.
Ah, okay. Tool use code.
Right, not necessarily like a magic bullet for automating everything.
Yeah.
And the real bottleneck, it still seems to be understanding the code, testing it, maintaining it long term.
So human insight is still critical.
Absolutely. Despite all the talk and, frankly, the anxieties, human ingenuity, still totally essential for coding. It's like AI clears away the underbrush, maybe, so humans can focus on the bigger design.
That's a good way to put it. So if human insight is key, especially with these complex LLMs, how do we best evaluate them? How do we make sure they're actually helping?
Good question. The advice is leaning towards building your own custom tools for annotation. It allows for faster feedback loops than just using standard stuff.
Custom tools, okay.
And also maybe using simple pass-fail checks instead of like those 1 to 5 rating scales. It gives clearer signals about whether the LLM is actually doing the job right. Plus, we're saying really cool things like Mozilla's WASM agents.
WASM agents.
Yeah, running AI agents directly in the browser using WebAssembly. That's potentially huge for privacy and speed, running things client-side without sending data off somewhere else.
Interesting. Okay, so human ingenuity is still central. Which actually connects to another idea we saw, right? About how software isn't just a utility anymore.
Exactly. It's becoming a form of self-expression.
Tell me more about that.
Well, there's this article, You Are What You Launch. It talks about how the apps we choose, like Notion maybe, or Obsidian, they signal something about our taste. They create these sort of tribes almost, identities around the tools. Companies know this, so they're focusing way more on aesthetics, the whole vibe, not just features.
That really clicks with finding, joy in your work, using tools that feel right for you. Which reminds me of Flounder Mode, that concept came up too.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about resisting that sort of Silicon Valley pressure cooker, the need to be a unicorn.
Right, the single massive success.
Exactly.
Right.
It suggests maybe a more joyful, interest-led path can be just as fulfilling, maybe even more so. It's about taking time to find what really works for you, your actual strengths.
I like that. Okay, let's get practical for a second with some web development stuff. Promise racing in Next.js. What's that about? Sounds fast.
Yeah, it does. It's basically where the server starts loading data, but only waits for a very short time, maybe like 1 second.
Okay.
If the data comes back super quick, it sends it straight to the browser, no loading spinner needed.
And if it's slow?
Then yeah, you show the spinner, but the data loading continues in the background on the client side. It makes things feel faster, avoids unnecessary loading states, better user experience.
Clever. Okay, and one more on the code front. JavaScript arrow functions, they're everywhere now. What are the key things developers really need to remember?
Well, the big ones are, they're shorter, obviously, that is syntax, but crucially, how they handle this keyword.
This. Always tricky.
Right. Arrow functions don't get their own this. They just use the one from wherever they're defined. Super useful for consistency, especially in callbacks, but can trip you up. And remember, you can't use them as constructors. No new keyword with arrow functions. They're built differently.
Got it. Okay, finally, let's touch on something that sounds really cutting edge. Zero-knowledge proofs. ZKPs.
Yes, this is really exciting for privacy. Google actually open sourced their libraries for this.
So what do they let you do?
They let you prove something is true, like say you're over 18, without revealing any other information about yourself. Not your birth date, nothing else.
Seriously? How?
It's complex cryptography, but essentially you prove the fact without disclosing the underlying data. It's a massive step for digital ID, age checks, things like that. Huge for privacy.
Wow, okay, that was quite a journey. From AI deep in the code to web performance tricks and these big ideas about identity and privacy, it really shows how tangled up tech is with everything else.
It really does. So maybe the thing to think about is, how are all these threads connected for you? You know, the code running behind the scenes, the tools you choose, how they shape your experience, maybe even project who you are. How does it all weave together in your own life?
Spoken Tech, for your ears.